Hello, 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 and welcome to Bitches with Beards. And on today's episode, I asked a question: did the people on the New Jersey Turnpike ever find America?
And Max, some people do need to hide that face because there is another mask behind them.
We're the podcast that attempts to break down culture of all the elegance of two coastal grandmas.
But in truth, we're just a couple of bitches with beards.
I'm Max.
And I'm Daniel.
And we're live from a dying Keating podcast studio in haberdashery.
And we both have opinions, so let's get this party started.
Going above, boom.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Oh, that's how we have to do it. We have to do it above.
I think we did it like that on the last episode. Oh, Daniel.
Oh, Max.
It's July 4th.
It is July 4th and a Friday. It's hot.
Which I think is why DC is empty, because I think people we've got a long weekend.
They're like, we have 3 days, we must go, and so they did.
Yes, we're keeping it basic. Mm-hmm. We are off to Matt's after this. Mm-hmm. I was like, Daniel, can we just do it before? And this week is going to be, it's always a weird quiet week. And
it's always a weird week. So yesterday I was in the office and realized, as I was one of two people in the office, that I shouldn't have come into the office. I should have just taken the third off, but I did not. So,
yeah, no, DC's dead.
Oh yes,
we are heading over to Matt's roof deck. My thoughts are summed up with have you seen what's on my t-shirt?
Oh yes. Have the day that you voted for.
And Hubs is the one where he got us t-shirts, and so we are heading over. I will probably watch the fireworks. I'm a bit meh about the whole.
Yeah.
It felt a bit yucky this year, to be honest. You know,
this felt very yucky for a bit.
Yeah, and I think considering that, we are both gay, one's immigrant, unemployed. It's sort of and this country's built around having a job.
It's called capitalism.
Yeah, no, but we just. So we're going to do. We're heading up to roof deck. Hopefully, it won't be too busy. So DC feels dead.
DC feels very dead. It feels on par with how it felt a few weeks ago.
Yes,
for the Army 250 parade.
Yeah, so hopefully most people left yesterday and they'll come back Sunday.
That's what I'm hoping. I have a feeling that might be the case just because my agency was trying to give away tickets to go to the parade and to go to the fireworks. And they're like, it's a limited number of tickets. And then there was a second email, hey, please come get the tickets. There's a limited number of tickets. And I'm like, that's not a good sign that people are want to go.
Is it usually no matter the administration popular, or does it vary?
No, it wanes from year to year, depending on who is in the White House. Sometimes it's more everyone's jumping on it. Sometimes there's lots of tickets to go around, and sometimes there are no tickets to go around because the administration doesn't want to give out any tickets. Yeah. This happened to be a year that they did want to give out tickets to the White House lawn, and they're like, please come. And I was like, nope, not touching that. Not touching that at all. Yeah,
usually at NDI we would have the roof deck of the building would be open, but you weren't allowed alcohol up there. I'm trying not to be that person. I like fireworks. I don't really get I'm not knocking over kids to get to the front to watch them.
Oh my God, I must see the diamonds in the sky.
And so I've always kind of felt a little bit like, why? Okay, I guess you could go up and watch them.
I like the social aspect of fireworks a lot better than the actual fireworks. Like, I like the fact that we are going to grill for a little bit. We're going to have dinner. We're going to be amongst friends for a couple of hours. I love that aspect. And we'll spend about 15 minutes watching the fireworks, turn back to our conversations, continue, for the evening. That's what I like. I don't want to be on the mall, and I'm going to be very brutal right now, with the unwashed masses watching the fireworks go off directly above my head with the ash raining down on me.
Does it get busy on the mall every year?
It gets horribly busy on the mall. I did that one year, the first year that I moved up here, because I had tickets to a special area. I went up there and I sat and was there for about an hour and hated it because it was like right in the fallout zone. So like you were covered in ash by the end of it.
When do you have to get down to the mall?
For that, well, let me put it this way. For this year, if you were going to the White House area, you had to be down there at around 5, I believe, is the ticket situation. But that's to go through security to then go. And I'm like, I'm not.
And could you take anything in with you?
No, you couldn't take anything in with you.
For fuck's sake. So what's the point?
To buy refreshments there.
Oh, we do have something at least.
Yeah. So it was, all in all, it was one of these, I was like, I don't want to have anything to do with this at all. Like, it's...
Well, you're better than that, don't you?
I am better than that. Marginally on most things, but I am a lot better than that on
I
that
know
thing.
one year my mum's mates went up to the River Thames to watch the fireworks, and when it got to midnight, their bottle of champagne had frozen, and they couldn't get the cork out.
Oh, well, that's New Year's, though.
Yeah. But I'm saying that is why the obsession with... It's not for me. It is. It's. I said this year's pretty yucky. Last year we were in lovely Matinee Idol, and Debs and Pat had us down there, and that was nice. And then the year before was the... Now, were we doing a podcast then?
Yeah, the year before we were doing the podcast. Oh, I remember that what happened the year before. The year before y'all hosted.
And he wouldn't leave.
Certain individuals wouldn't leave. I ended up going to Matt's roof deck with Priest.
Yeah, we were
at
Dom. Yeah, that was when he wouldn't leave our house.
Yeah, like literally, and then went to a bar and then tried to come back to your house.
Ooh, trying to think because that was a year. Oh, God, already. I mean, we've got enough to fill this week. It's been fucking quite a week.
Yeah. That was the scandal of it all.
That was the scandal. We'd already had sex on our roof deck, or tried to anyway, and we were like, "Girl, can you please not?" And then we ended up. We would do roof deck stuff 4th of July, and it was always our thing. And then it just got a little bit. It just got one year. It was so fucking hot, and this is again, if you're in England and anywhere else, it is so hot. It's unbearably hot, and no one wants to be outside.
And it's always consistently hot,
and it's coming off the grill, and so. One year, to the point, I think the year before that, it had been so hot, the hubs had been like, I don't even want to grill up there, we're going to do it all in the oven, and it was just so... And then next year, we were like, look, we can't see the fireworks anymore because of construction, so how about we do the afternoon bit, and then we end the party with strict 8 p.m, and everyone goes and finds a roof deck. And
because there are options here in DC.
There's so many options, and actually a lot of people were like, "Oh, actually that works perfect." My friend invited me to the roof, but I didn't have anything to do in the day.
Yeah,
it all worked. One friend who we have not, well, since then he broke contact because he did claim he had a drinking issue, which he may well have been, but he trying to be sensitive here. His issue with drinking was that he would not so much end up twatted drunk. But would just drink too much to drive and go, well, can I stay because I can't drive? And we're like, there's a difference.
And it was sort of his MO to do that.
Yeah, and he'd be like, well, I can feel you trapped. And eventually, but he also bragged about how close he lived to the metro line.
Right.
So the hubs this year said 8 o'clock, everyone is okay, and everyone's like, that's perfect, thank you so much for having us, we feel fed, watered, all that sort of thing. Oh yeah, I don't really have many years ago, and we're like, unfortunately we're going to a friend's roof deck. It's just, it's limited things. Oh well, can I just stay? No, you can't actually. It's 8 o'clock at night. It's too early.
It's 8 o'clock at night. The hosts are leaving.
Yeah.
The guests are all departing in their ways. And there was a group of us, and we even tried to get him to go over to Matt's.
And he would not leave.
He would not leave.
He kept saying, I can come on. I said, look, unfortunately, we really are not hosting tonight. It was Wednesday. Yeah, it was Wednesday.
Yeah, it was a Wednesday night.
And we were like, no, I'm sorry, we're not this year. But you've got options. You can get Metro home and that sort of thing. Or
and he ended up going to Dirty Goose, from what I remember.
Yeah. And it just was like, and then we had to literally, he goes, we were going to the stairs to get out, and he was like lingering. I said, you need to go in front of me.
Yeah.
And like, why? And we're like, because of the dog. And that was pre-Bear coming into our lives, I think. Yeah. And then...
it was pre-Bear.
Yeah. But so Deaf Dog was not one that liked company that she didn't really know. No. So that was it. So that was our 4th of July. But apart from that, Daniel, how was your week been?
I mean, my week has been productive on personal projects with Ladybird. Not the high of last week of finding that signature. Sorry, guys. I'm going to geek out about that again. It was a short week. Work was really weird. Like I said yesterday, I shouldn't have been in the office. Like, I literally ran out of things to do at like 9 a.m. in the morning. And I'm like, okay, guess I'm going to organize these photographs and name them and then follow this correspondence. And I'm like, oh, that took all of 10 minutes. Great. So it was like, I was trying to find busy work yesterday. Like, I had stuff that I could do, but I wasn't going to start it before the holiday because it's like, I knew I would not get it done, and picking it back up on a Monday was not what I needed to do. Like, I needed to just start it on Monday and then do it all on Monday. So I have next week lined up work-wise. Other than that, I am apparently going to see my mother at the end of the month.
Oh, you actually are?
I'm actually going to go see my mother, so planning that out. Yeah, I'm... Oh, it's going to be interesting. I'm going to gird my loins, and I will be booking myself into a massage afterwards.
Well, are you staying with her?
I am staying with her.
How long are you going to be there for?
So I am flying down on Friday, and I am flying back up on Monday morning.
You know what? That's actually... Yeah, at least you... It's a set number of days. It's not like it's a weird... Like, you are... It very much says, this is a long weekend. This is what you can get off me.
It was one of these... She's like, stay a week. And I said, no.
Yeah.
I said, I can do a long weekend. I said...
Do you have a remote work option for your place?
No, not anymore.
No. Yeah, I see, yeah.
That was the other news this week. That got yanked away from everybody. So... that's no longer an option, but it was one of these. It lined up where it's my Friday that I'm normally off. I'm like, I will just take off the Monday. My boss is like, you can take off the Monday and then the Tuesday after if you need to as a mental health day. And I'm like, don't tempt me on that because I will. So I think that's probably what I'm going to do is fly back to DC on Monday and then recover on a Tuesday.
That's a nice way of doing it.
Anyways, but I'm going to say thank you for being gracious enough to be like, yes, we can lock in that date of Thursday to record, because I was just like, I can't do it any other time.
No.
Like, yeah, it's one of these. I haven't seen her in a bit. I think she's blackmailing me to go down just a teensy little bit. She's like, oh, I have mental health issues, blah, blah. I'm not saying that she doesn't, but it's just like, I have health issues.
I know how she works.
And I'm like, yeah, when you don't take your medicine, you're going to have health issues. So, anyways, I am being a good son, getting the karma off, and yeah.
What have you got planned?
Thank you for asking that. So, there is an art museum down there that is very nice to go to, the Sarasota Art Museum. We can go in there, spend a couple of hours. She likes going to Ca d'Ora, which is one of the Ringley Brother mansions that's down there. I'm like, great. That is a good long morning. So that could be a Saturday. We can then go to an afternoon on Siesta Key, and we can have lunch, and we can have dinner. All set. Sunday, we can very much lay by the pool because she has a nice pool. So I'm like,
lovely.
We can do that.
I don't know if the one that we found is saying... I know your mum likes to feel a little, looked after. Is saying, hey, Mum, I'd love to treat you to dinner. Can you think of a nice restaurant?
Yes.
Have you done that on...
So I've already done that. She's thinking about where she wants to go on Friday night. Yeah, it was like, let's do that. And I was like, and while we're, doing this, let's plan on like Saturday night or Sunday, we're going to have a home spa day. Like we'll, get our masks, get our facials, get our stuff. So it's like, okay, we can at least spend 2 hours in complete silence pampering ourselves, but still together. Like, it's very much like carving out a little bit of time.
These are tips and tricks that people need to be listening to. But I'd love to take you up. Why don't you think that's somewhere you'd love to go? I'd love to treat you. And it basically, and we do it. And that's not to say that it's a hollow gesture. It is, but it is trying to... Again, I always am going to come back with let's do everything with intention, but you know that your mum has summoned you, across the Mason-Dixie, to keep going further down, and it's working out why. And in order for this trip to tick every box, you got to work out what the boxes are. Yeah.
So it's spend time with her because we know she wants that because she's like, oh, you have already just made my year by doing this, and I'm like, I'm aware of this. I understand what you are saying. I am coming to see her.
Have you asked her if she wants anything from DC?
Yes, she doesn't want anything
Cool.
from
Just
BC.
checking. Try to think anything else. you need to do.
It's one of these that it's best for me just to get down there. She wants to show me the renovation that she's done to the house. So I'm like, all right, Mom, let's do an entire tour of the house so you can show me everything that you've done since I've been down here last, which is a lot of work. But yeah, it's very much we've worked it out, and I'm like, all right, we've got chunks, and yeah, we're just going to have to figure out where my breaking point is going to be with her. And I hate being like that, but like there is typically a time limit where I'm like, okay, I think the day wise is fine, but I'm like, there will be a point during that I'm going to be like, I'm going to need an hour to myself.
So what's your plan for that one?
I am still trying to work that one out. Of if I need an hour to myself, do I say I need to go do something for work?
Yeah, no, I would say that.
I mean, I'm really thinking about taking the work phone with me and being like, you know what? I really need to do like email stuff to see how my employees are doing since I took off, claiming I take off on a Friday.
Well, can't you do the nap?
It doesn't really work with her with a nap. It doesn't. It doesn't.
Can't you just shit your pants?
I mean, I wish I could.
You're constipated. Do you want some syrup or something?
Yeah, castor oil is what I need. Or olive oil. Just have it run right through me. I will work something out, but there's going to be a point where I'm going to be like, I just need an hour to myself, and I've got to think of something tactfully to like do for an hour.
Bitch, shut your mouth.
Yeah, that is not going to work with her. I would probably get hit with something.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you could do it anyway.
Yeah. So how was your week doing here?
Well, I'll come on to what we did last Saturday in a little bit later. But yeah, Sunday we had a nice brunch. And Joe and Zach had us over. We were there for a while in the end. There was funny towards the end of it because everyone started getting really drunk and like talking a load of like drunk talk. And Doyle just looked at me and went, "Oh my God, I forget you're sober." And I'm like, "Yeah."
Surprise!
No, we had a really nice time. And then. Yeah, it's been... I'm just trying to check my notes, really. I forget my glass. I'm not wearing my glasses, which is bad.
Do you need your glasses?
No, I'm all good. No. Well, we went... I went... Actually, I left DC for a couple of days and went to Spotsylvania for the... Matt Idol is setting up a business and he's doing... Actually, some good news, but I'm helping. He wants to get some social media presence, and I said I'd go down and help. So we actually got quite a bit done. I had to give myself a bit of grace because it's been a while since I did it, and also we're learning our relationship and just how how we will go about this project. So we got about 5 videos done, which is pretty good.
Yeah,
and it was honestly, they have such a lovely house, and Deb and Pat were so lovely. And we went out for dinner a couple of nights and watched The Gilded Age. Oh. Luckily, we had a Cynthia Nixon appreciation night on the Sunday, me and Hubs. So when we watched both of them. I didn't, risk a divorce. No, we did that, and it was just nice. And I went down on the train, read a ton. I don't know, it was just nice to kind of get out the city a little bit. And actually, so even though it was working, it was fun, and we had a giggle. And the country club is fun. I love you, Deb. I don't know if hopefully one of your friends are listening, but Deb is just brilliant and was over chatting to a table of ladies and then comes over and then properly goes into why she hates most of them. No, I mean, there was one of them she really did not like. But it was just a really nice couple of days. And then last night, the lovely Lee Hanson Ryan with the hair, he has the other one of the hair. He invited us out. He had his parents in town, and so he did a July 4th barbecue, but we took Bug, and Bug basically, there was a couple there who we'd met before, and the guy comes over and goes, "God," to Hubs and said, "Your dog works to women, doesn't he?" And he's working all the women, and he was walking about, and he just had a way of a time. So that was a lot of fun, and I think everyone, everyone's a bit icky about July 4th this year, so it was just a nice way of doing it.
Yeah.
Who's not icky about July 4th? Because, she's the best of America, is the lovely Ina Garden.
That's true.
So shall we... Because you can see the fireworks for her garden, so should we go have a wander around it?
Yeah, we should have a wander around in Ina's garden. So today we are having a strawberry lemon poppy. Cheers.
Is it strawberry lemon, not strawberry lemonade?
No, not strawberry lemonade, and actually not strawberry limeade. It's strawberry lemon. The lemon cuts through the strawberry, I think. So it's a good balance. It's still a little bit sweet, but it's not as sweet as it could be.
Reminds me of being a kid.
Oh, does it?
Yeah.
Why does it remind you of being a kid? I want to hear
There
this
was
story.
strawberry squash. Oh, squash is our version of what do you call it? Kool-Aid or something like that. Yeah, the condensed, and
Concentrate.
Concentrate. Yeah, and no, there was I remember one year in Cornwall. There was like a strawberry concentrate, and this makes me think of the beach.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, sorry, that went a bit somber. So, sorry.
Oh my gosh.
Come on, Max.
Max has emotions? What? Went
a bit. I'm sorry, everyone's don't switch off, people. Yeah.
I mean, you have got to suppress it, sir. Suppress it.
Okay. While we're on it, I'm gonna get your reaction. I can put these up online.
Uh-huh.
I'm doing my show, my portfolio today.
Uh-huh.
And I was looking for some photos. Do you want to see who's that I'm next to?
I don't know who you're next to.
That would be Sporty Spice in Blood Brothers.
No.
Do you want to see the night I handed in my dissertation? I look like absolute fucking shit. Look at my hair though.
I know.
Yeah.
I can see it. Oh my gosh, you look so drained in that one. I don't mean that in a bad way.
I know.
But...
A year before, that was me in. I'll put these up online. That's me with blonde hair and.
I was supposed to say you have slightly frosted tips,
I
sir.
have frosted tips. It was the early 2000s. People.
I love it so much, though. I love it so much.
But anyway, that's not news.
No.
Shall we check the news?
We should check the news. So this is the portion of the podcast where we talk about things that are gay adjacent, or just a little bit camp.
So I buzzed Daniel yesterday and went, I've got no news. And I had been in Spotsylvania. It was a quiet week, mixed with a week that I was very active on my job. So it was a bit of a bad combination. And then Daniel sent me one story and I just went, no more fucking gay penguins.
So here's the thing that happened is you sent me this text saying you had no news. And for some reason, this elicited a panic that I had with my former podcast where the co-host showed up.
I felt
without
bad.
a story. And I was like, oh God, the day has come. And I was just like, oh God. So I was just like, I hate saying this. Every story that I didn't want to do, I was just like, all right, Max, here's this one, and this one, and this one, and this one, and just pick one. Like, here's 4 of them. Take them.
It was such a weird way
I was
of doing
panicking.
it.
I was panicking. I was like, oh no.
And then, like, I had just such a weird... And they aren't good stories. So I'll go into them.
Oh, yeah.
Well, one of them, the actor Michael Madsen died. His sister, who famous for Pulp Fiction, died. And then I was like, well, he did the sexy dance in Reservoir Dogs, and I was like, okay, maybe that's news. No, accused of beating his wife in 2022.
Yeah, it's like, oh...
But I will say that Star Wars actor Kenneth Collery, who played Admiral Piet in The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, did sadly die.
Oh.
Admiral Piet was interesting in that he was the one that did survive Empire. So he survived Empire, but that was when Vader was like, "You're dead, you're dead, you're dead, you're dead," and he's good. And I think I could be wrong because Captain Palion is the one I'm thinking of, who was in the expanded universe. But Piet died when an A-wing went through the bridge of a Superstar Destroyer, and he was on that one, and that was the one that crashed into the second Death Star. So he had pretty cool death. So he was, I think, very much loved amongst fans. I know he was. They all had ongoing careers and made a shit ton of money though, signing £15 photographs at conventions.
I mean, look, they found an angle and they made it work.
They did, they really did. They were so respected as well. But it's interesting, a lot of them then went either played, so we had Grange Hill was our kids' TV school drama. They either played teachers in that or Nazis, in Indiana Jones.
I mean, those are the two options, teacher or Nazi. Take your pick. Take your pick.
Now, I'm not sure. I was going to switch over some news. So there's been apparently it's a bit sad news. Well, is it not say apparently is some sad news. Several anti-LGBT incidents have occurred in eastern Massachusetts, including Provincetown. Police are investigating potential hate crime after man was attacked on Monday morning. This is very sad. You know, obviously Provincetown is a gay haven,
Yes,
so
it
the
is.
fact this is occurring, I want to stay safe out there now. We're in weird times, and people are getting a little bit of
Very much.
I think I'm going to. I had one bit of news. I couldn't work out if it was Gagged or Gooped tonight, so I'm going to move this one to Gagged and Gooped and move my Gagged and Gooped up. Is that the lovely Chris Carpenter, who played Cordelia in Buffy the Vampire Slayer, wants to be in the new reboot. The only reason I think it's news is that she was fired for being pregnant for an angel and killed off quite unceremoniously, and I just want to acknowledge that the cast have really rallied around what's gone on with Joss Whedon, and the fact that she's healed enough to want to be part of it. And Sarah Michelle Gellar has said that she'd love for anyone that died to come back. It's just, I think it's a nice. So I just wanted that little bit of news. That this clearly must be such a safe space for people to come to. That I'm really excited for that, and I'm hoping they'll find a way to bring her back. And then talking of high schools and, leaving them in unceremonious ways,
no.
Romy and Michelle's high school reunion is getting a stage musical adaptation off Broadway.
Oh. For some reason, I thought I already had one.
Clueless is getting one.
But
Intentions has done. There's a lot that's going on right now.
I feel like there's been a revival of, millennial, I don't want to say teen. Well, it was sort of teen, though.
It's tough. Yeah.
Teen movies.
Well, screenwriter Robin Schiff of the original has musicalized her cult classic film with songwriters Gwendolyn Stanford and Brandon Jay.
So it'll be a musical.
Musical, yeah. So I would like to see that, actually. I do like it with Romy and Michelle. And Michelle.
Yeah.
On that note, Daniel.
Post-it notes.
Post-it notes.
Yes. Well, I'm trying to think if I need to reorder this one or not. So, yes, actually, I am going to reorder this. So speaking of Romy and Michelle, if you've had a Valerie Cherish-sized hole left in your heart, fear not. Lisa Kudrow, who was in Romy and Michelle, will be reviving and donning her glamorous drag persona yet again for the 1990s TV star, who's going back to the small screen. Kudrow will once again revive the role. Originally, the series ran for one season in 2005, came back in 2015, and will once again come back in 2020. But she says in the promo that this is the last time. This is the last time she's doing.
Have you ever seen the comeback?
So I saw the first season of the comeback, and I saw it after the original run. I think I saw it somewhere in between the two. So I need to go back and rewatch the first run.
Watched it.
And I need to watch the second season. I heard the second season was a lot better than the first one, and I thought the first season
one was meant
good.
to be good.
Yeah.
So she's done it complete cult
classic, and it seems to be like every 10 years there's a revival of it. So HBO Max says that they have begun production and it should be released 2026, so a little bit off of that 10-year mark, but close enough.
It's one show that I do want to watch, and I never remember to watch it when I have time to watch it sort of thing.
And from what I remember, I think it was 8 episodes the first season. It's short.
Did it get cancelled?
Yes, it got canceled, got the cult following, essentially came back, and I don't think it got canceled again. I thought they came back with the intention of it was just going to be a one-off season for the second one.
And see how it goes.
Yeah. Anyway, so Michael Patrick King of Sex and the City is tied to this like he was with the original two. So
he works on a lot.
He does work on a lot. So anyways, more Lisa Kudrow in your life.
I like Lisa.
I love Lisa, actually. She was probably the one that I liked the most out of Friends.
It's weird even more. I think that Courtney Cox got Scream during Friends, didn't she? Mm-hmm. So she always had that movie star, and then I'm always quite impressed by Jennifer Aniston actually, because she was meant to be, and it's a bit like if any ensemble, whether it's like a pop band, like a pop group, is that they kind of have assigned roles, and they all kinds of. Obviously, poor Matthew Perry, but David Schwimmer, he's acted, but he went into directing really early, and they had like Matt LeBlanc was the one they decided I think was going to have the career. I Lost in Space is one of my fucking favourite movies because it knows exactly what the fuck it is.
Yeah.
But the girls, it was interesting, and I think Lisa was always going to be the kooky indie film girl, and then you had Courtney Cox and Jennifer Aniston. And it's weird. I hate to say so. Jennifer Aniston was that she started in her 30s in that, so she was already a bit rom-commy old.
Yeah,
and yet somehow she's so likable. I just want, and apparently she's really nice.
Oh, I could see that. I could totally see that.
And you don't watch the morning show, do you?
No, I don't watch the morning show.
And
I've heard good things about her in it.
She met Tig Notaro, who's in it, who plays Billy Crudup's assistant, security person, at a wedding, and just was chatting to her and said, "Oh, I love your work. I love your comedy." And he said, "I'd love to work with you sometime." And Tig was telling his story on her podcast and went, "Oh yeah, that's great." 2 days later, gets a phone call going, "Oh yeah, Jennifer Aniston's people want to talk. She really, really does love you." That's how she got a morning show.
Oh,
because
very
Jennifer
nice.
Aniston just wanted to work with her.
Oh, that's nice.
Anyway, carry on. Sorry,
No. But I was going to say, going back a little bit, I always felt like of the three girls, in Friends, Lisa Kudrow was the most versatile, even though she played that kooky character of Phoebe Buffay. Like, she then had more serious roles that she played here and there, and Valerie Cheris was a different sort of comedy. Like, it was a little bit tad more...
I've heard sometimes it's hard to watch to come back.
It's a little bit hard to watch because she's so serious and into it. But, like, to me, she has the most range out of the three of them, if that makes sense.
Well, she was a comedy because she was in... Was it Outright Citizens? Was that her or was she Second City?
I don't remember which one she was in. I know she was in...
she was with Kathy Griffin.
She was... What was the television show that she was in before that?
Mad About You.
No, but she was in another one before that. She was in... I can't remember if she was in Cheers or Frasier.
She was in Frasier. But she was fired.
Yes, but she played Ursula, who was the twin of Phoebe.
So she played that in Mad About You.
Oh, okay. Well,
but she was the original Roz in Frasier, and she got fired from that.
Yeah, that's it.
No,
yeah.
she was... Mad About You was Ursula, and then they wrote it in afterwards. It wasn't meant to be a spin-off, but it
became a spin-off.
But not a spin-off.
Yeah. In a roundabout universe. It was in the same universe.
But in Kathy Griffin's book, Kathy Griffin, for those that you way too young, and I don't know if dear Daniel will remember this, in the mid-2000s when she released My Life on the D-List.
Yes, I remember that.
So that was when she had this amazing moment where she and she released a book, the official Oprah Book Club selection, which Oprah did not like that title. She talks a lot about how, her and Lisa Kudrow were in the same team, and she said, this mousy, brown-haired, flat-chested woman, and all of a sudden comes back with blonde hair and tits, and then suddenly had her first sitcom, as only Kathy Griffin could.
But it's true.
And it worked for her.
It did work for her. So, off of that high note about Valerie Cherish and Lisa Kudrow, some sad news that came out of Pride last week from New York City was that there was actual 2 individuals were shot near the Stonewall Inn.
I saw this news.
Yeah, 2 girls, one 16, one 17, were near the Stonewall Inn where they were shot. Police think that the investigation was not a hate crime related, but they were just in the wrong place at the wrong time. Investigations are ongoing. Again, listeners, be vigilant. Sorry to bring that one down. But in good news about Pride, remember that Pride is a protest. And in Hungary, people took that to heart, where the largest Pride ever was held in Budapest. This happened when a record number of marchers descended upon Budapest to protest Oban. This was in defiance of Parliament, which earlier this year banned any gatherings associated with the LGBTQ mafia. There was no number as to, how many were there, but if you saw the photographs, the main bridge was just swamped.
I saw it was quite spectacular.
Yeah, absolutely wonderful. And in final bit of news, Masquerade, the Andrew Lloyd Webber immersive spin-off of Phantom of the Opera, sold out within 3 hours this past week. It is announced that additional dates will be released on July 9th if you were unfortunate enough to get tickets. There are at least 6 different showtimes per day that will have 15-minute intervals as to when individuals show up. So if you do the math, that means it should be about a 90-minute experience, so to speak. So I think they're following a little bit more of the Las Vegas version of Phantom of the Opera. The experience will run for 6 weeks. It's going to be in Midtown Manhattan at the Gershwin Theater, and I can report as someone who got tickets to this. Now, here is the caveat. I did not personally try to get tickets. My friend who lives in New York City was like, would you like to go? And I said, yeah, I'd love to go. What's your limit for tickets? And I said, here's my limit for tickets. She came back 5 minutes later, and she's like, it's $10 over that. And I said, buy those tickets. And she did. And so I am going. There is a dress code with this where if you are attending, you have to be in either formal attire or cocktail in either black, white, or silver. The theme is opulence. So, Max, I showed you the outfit that I'm wearing.
It's lovely, very opulent.
Very opulent. There might be some pearls that are going with that one and a brooch or something. I don't know. We're going to be given masks whenever we show up, but we are going to be given a passcode the day of that we have to give at the door in order to get in. So it's one of these, you can't reuse the passcode or anything like that. It's supposed to change every single day and every single performance. So
how interesting.
To be determined. I was texting you about it, and I'm really hoping that this does not turn out to be another Wonka experience. But listeners, if it is, don't worry. I will be breaking
film every second.
I will film everything that happens. Do not worry. So, my little bit of news, and I don't mean this to be a brag.
No, brag away.
I didn't mean for this to, I didn't intend for this to happen. It just sort of fell on my lap, for lack of a better word. So,
well, talking of the Wonka experience, should we take a break and visit the chocolate factory?
We should. Milk lemonade.
And we're back.
Oh, yes.
I didn't have time for a poo, but we have to get over to Matt's. I nearly was like, do I want another soda? And then I realized that he does not have restrooms on his roof deck, which I know champagne problems, but no champagne because we need to not drink so much because we're going everywhere to pee unless we go grab his keys.
Well, I mean, just pee before you go and pee again and pee again and then go.
It's so weird. I've gone to cinema where I've needed to pee in for an hour and a half movie, and then went to see Killers of the Flower Moon, and I walked out fine.
Oh, I was in pain the last hour of that film because there's no freaking intermission, which is an issue, as you know, listeners, I have so many things.
Well, anyway, Daniel, was Clothes of Flower Moon your culture this week, or did you have different culture?
I had totally different culture this week. Food of the week, I made the tofu the way that you talked about last week.
Incinerate and bake.
Yes. It was good. I wanted it to be crispier, but I made it into a pad thai dish. It was very good. Somehow I've got to work on the flavors just a little bit.
Yeah.
It needs just a little bit something, but the paprika did help it a lot. Drink of the week, Fever Tree Blood Orange Soda. Very nice, very summer, very light, very refreshing. Listeners, if you are craving alcohol but don't want to have it, have one of those. It'll have a nice little burn to it.
Delicious.
Yes. Songs of the week. I've seen the movie 2 by Elton John, a throwback to 1973. Love Me Not by Raven Lenae, and Undressed by Somber. Musicals of the week. I was spot on and on the nose. Multiple versions of the musical Assassins and 1776.
I like Assassins.
I love Assassins, and I was just like, hurt me a little bit more.
Seen it twice.
Oh, have you seen it twice?
Seen it in Many a Chocolate Factory. I think Aaron Tveit was in that one. Oh, he was in that production. I think he left it a little bit. I think, and I missed Catherine Tate in that one as well. Sadly, she swapped out. But I saw it over here. I think at Signature. Because I wanted the Hubs to see it, because I think the Hubs would be excellent in the main role.
Oh yeah. But who do you say is the main role? Because they're depending on which version of the song is the person who's singing.
It was the circus owner, the circus. That I mean, when I saw it, he was the one. I was like, I think Hubs would be excellent in that one.
Mm-hmm. I could see that. Television, Good Ship Murder from BitBox. If you want a nice British procedural on a ship, so think...
So Doctor Odyssey.
well, anyways, think The Love Boat meets, a murder mystery.
Murder, She Wrote.
A little bit like that. It's a little bit like that, but it's, you're jumping to a couple conclusions about, this mystery works if the one, attendant saw everything every single time and got the one clue that so-and-so was having a clandestine affair, and it's like, okay.
Have you watched Poker Face at all? The Natasha Lyonne one.
I saw the first episode of Poker Face, and I don't remember why I didn't continue watching.
It's meant to be really good, I've heard.
And it's renewed for a second or the second
there
season.
Is a second out. Yeah. We'll have to
I should watch that one. Album of the week was Lover by Taylor Swift. I forgot how much was on that album that I actually liked a lot.
Is that Cruel Summer on that album?
Yeah, Cruel Summer. I'd forgotten that Cruel Summer was on that one. And Lover and Archer and so many of the other ones.
It's sort of, I think, because did that come out after... Was that the one after Reputation?
Yes, that was the one after Reputation.
And before...
She started announcing the re-releases at that point.
Yeah, I feel Lover's one that it always feels a little bit like I know there's singles, but I forget there's an album in a way.
I was forgetting that most of it was a single. Like,
yeah.
She released most of the songs as singles, but they're good.
Every artist has that album, though, don't they?
Yeah.
I think there's that one album that people forget, and I think they need it because it reminds people of what you. I think it gives diehard fans that sense of discovery every so often. They're going, oh, I forget that album. Oh, why do I not put that one on more?
Well, the thing is, like, I will play the songs individually, but I was, like, listening through it the entire time. I was like, oh, yeah, I had forgotten that these were linked together. And it was, I don't want to say it was, like, an eye-opening experience, but it was just like, oh, yeah, I'd forgotten.
Yeah, that's nice when you can get that. Especially you being such a hardcore fan, is you can have those moments still with her.
Yeah. How about you? What was culture for you this week?
Well, this week... For food, well, we got it now. I did a couscous salad, and I've done a cookie, so ready for that. I cheated.
You cheated?
How
did you cheat?
Well, not really cheated. So we had a thing last night, we've got a thing today, and I'm like, I'm going to make just a big batch and cut it down the middle.
That's not cheating at all. That is being smart. That's being economical. That's using your time wisely.
So I did that. We went to the Savannah Bananas.
Oh, how were the Savannah Bananas?
Well, they were playing the firemen, and they were fucking hot. And they had their calendar boys come out, and they eventually stripped down, and we were woofing them. It was so they are. I can't.
Was there a flood warning in the stadium?
There was a lot of ladies shouting. No, they were a lot of fun. We went with John and Lisa and had a really good time. They are more of a exhibition baseball team. They're minor league, and they do lots of like dance routines.
They're a bit like the Harlem Globetrotters.
They are. They're basically.
Baseball.
It's the Harlem Globetrotters of the baseball world. Imagine if Jason Kelsey was given a baseball team to...
Oh, I could see that. Yeah.
But it's a lot of fun. The game was good. It's only 2 hours as well. And they put a clock up. They only last 2 hours.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, like they say that's it. And if it goes over, there's a rule they go into. But they keep you entertained. We had a really good time. Yes, we had that. Books. I read a lot on the train to go down to Spotsylvania, so I read more of that Summer of '89, my old boss Enrico Testarin's book. It's really grown on me. It's such a lovely... It feels very novella, like just a little moment in time, which is what I love. I love that in a film. I love that in a book. I think he's making the film version of it. I'm not sure. He should. Television this week, not really much to report home about. It's new, though I did see Outrageous. Binge it on. That's one about the Mitford sisters.
Yes.
Excellent. We've
had 3 episodes so far.
Yeah, I think the 4th must be out. It could be.
Yeah, or tomorrow it'll be out.
Yeah. I really liked it. It's very... you can tell it's been on a budget because but I think that what they're doing... I like the fact that I feel that it's not doing that trope of one sister, one episode, one sister, the other.
Yes.
It's working very nicely.
It's weaving them together.
Yeah. I don't know. I think just in summer I get a bit nostalgic for Britain as well. I was chatting to you. I want to be like PG Roadhouse, by the pilot pool and just they're lovely ornate pools. But no, and the lovely Bessie Carter, who's Imelda Staunton, Jim Carter's daughter, who has been in Bridgerton. She's done so much, but this is kind of her first...
She's the lead.
I was thinking a bit of this. She's what I would call a soft lead, where it's an ensemble cast, but she's the lead of it. And
she is the narrator, but yeah.
And it does offer sometimes people a bit of a chance to... They can test them out. And period dramas especially, you get to have a lot of... Yeah, there's just a lot of shows where you're like, okay, I can see her though leading.
Yes.
But she's had a chance to shine. And
I think she's great in it.
You know her friend in it, the ginger guy, who's like,
Yes.
Joe, he's Richard Attenborough's nephew.
Didn't know that.
Attenborough's. Can't remember what it came up. Attenborough on it, and I think it's Dickie's grandson. But
I was about to say Dickie's.
But if you look at Dickie in Flight of the Phoenix years back, it's him. It's to a T. But I saw Attenborough come up on the credits. I'm like, all right, that has to be an Attenborough.
Yeah.
And I looked, it's like, okay, that's nice.
Very nice.
Music, I would definitely say Let's Theme It, America, Simon and Garfunkel, which I quoted at the start. And also Daniel walked into Supertramp's Breakfast in America, which is a very good album. Finally, movies, went to see Jurassic Park, Jurassic World Rebirth. Excellent.
Sexy little glasses.
He had American accent, did you, Jonathan, in it?
Oh.
It's very well done. It's set, people are kind of getting bored of the dinosaurs now, been there, done that. It's the original writer, he wrote the first two, and they brought him back for it. The storyline's pretty, I would say, like, they have to go collect samples and, on a land creature, sea creature, air creature. So very that. And then there's a hybrid involved. They brought them in, and it took breaths, which I don't think they've taken for a couple of movies now. They did it a little bit in Jurassic World, but I felt for this one was that they really took a breath, and there was the scenes of tension. There's a bit where, Jonathan Bailey's character encounters his real first dinosaur up close, and they really take like a couple of minutes on that scene.
Just to experience it,
and the themes playing, and I think that's where it helped. There was just it wasn't so urgent. The only thing I would say, there's a couple of scenes of Velociraptors and a Dilophosaurus, and just get the CGI, they need gravity. There's not, I don't know, I felt slightly that the physics are there, but not there.
The mechanics are working, but it's not quite.
They just felt a little bit too light.
Yeah, I get that.
So that's it. But apart from that, I would highly, highly recommend. And that's it then, Daniel.
Yeah.
I would say what's been culture for everyone else, but you put some suggestions in that I forget.
Oh, I just set them into our text that we had today after he had the panic I had the panic last night, when you're like, I have no news. And I'm like, what is culture? Culture is us about intentions for the year to come, because we're at the halfway point of the year.
How do you feel the year's going?
Oh, so many questions. Health-wise, I feel like it's improving for me. It was not great.
No.
At portions of it. Politically, not great. Professionally, it's muddling, going through. I think personal projects are going rather well this year. I think I've had a kick in my pants to work on that more so this year, and I've put a lot of effort into that. But I don't know. It's 50-50. I don't think this is a wash of a year. I think it's an interesting time.
I definitely think we're going to leave this year very different.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah. Yeah. It's a change.
It's definitely. Is there anything in the stars in the tarots for this year?
Yes. So the second half. So the first half of the year was supposed to be a lot of chaos, and then there was supposed to be clarity in the second half of the year. So I think we are in transition at this point. Gemini and Aquarius, I believe, and listeners who know astrology a lot better, I pay attention to those two, are supposed to be entering their boss era, so we'll see if I actually enter anything like that. I don't know. To be determined, but I do think that we are in a period of change.
Yeah.
I think you hit it on the nail on the head whenever you said we're going to leave the year differently.
Yeah, I mean, I know you're meant to. I do think,
Yes, but
it's very interesting, because obviously last year we lost a dog, and that we stepped out of the year into a very different family dynamic. I'd be curious to know, like, everyone else is like. I mean, I've been going through the just absolute shit with the job hunt, and you know, luckily that we're starting to. It's interesting. I'm making decisions now, and I was talking to the hubs about it, about moving forward on things and how I want to get a job. I want to obviously earn money, which, you know, I'm lucky in how I'm going about stuff at the moment. But I would definitely say that I am, you know, I spent a couple of days and I was really thankful for Matinee Idol, you know, and you know, he's setting up this business, and and when he mentioned that he wanted to do some social media, initially it was for TikTok, but we have discussed, you know, like doing something similar to what I'm doing with Matt in regards to a paid Meta campaign, is that I never went into it saying, okay, but this is how much money you owe me. I said to him, like, I really like to help you with this, and it's about building up my portfolio, and, you know, going in and really, you know, just having that moment of creativity, of looking beyond, and I'm going to sort it out next week. I've also been offered some freelance work as well, and there's just been a couple of bits that we're not anywhere close to out of the woods with it,
right?
But, you know, today it's the 4th of July. It should be summer. It is summer. It's fucking hot outside.
I was going to say, it physically is summer.
And it's going to sound really weird to bring this up. Have you seen the film The Holiday, the one with Emma Roberts, where she has the hot... Yes. And there's and it's a weird film, actually. I was chatting to Matinee Idol about it. It sticks in my head because it's a good Christmas movie. But it's actually not set at Christmas. It's set beginning and ends at Christmas and spans a year. And there's a bit where they're like they're there on their 4th of July and he gets his finger blown off. Spoiler alert. But honestly, give it a go. It's a really good film.
Yeah.
And, you know, I was like thinking so much about, like, we should be on a lake right now. We should have, you know, a cabin. We should have been, you know, me and you should have been, we should have gone up last week. Me and you should have been working remotely for a week. And then spending this morning, you know, you reading a book and me and the hubs going kayaking and stuff, and all this sort of thing. And it's very, I don't really want to talk about this because I don't know how many people I know from my old job are listening, and you know, I still have connections there, but we kind of waited for things to grow and change, and things didn't really occur there like they were meant to. And you know, we have various reasons and internal monologues, and you know full well, you know, what was holding back and what wasn't.
I am very much aware.
And you know, I think had I had what happened the last few months not happen, I'd still be at there, and I would be grateful. You know, whether or not I would have been now checked out for a seizure, whether or not I would have even had a seizure is another story.
Right.
But I think that the one thing this year is teaching me is to strengthen brand max. And that sounds so fucking douchey, but
no, it doesn't sound douchey. It's elevating the value that you have in yourself and understand. It's acknowledging your value and then making sure that everyone else knows your worth.
But also just looking at the business side of things and being more ready. And, you know, I feel like husband's probably a bit sick of me going, I'm looking at my portfolio, but really just breaking it down, going through it, looking at like just how it's presented. And I had another friend who, you know, messaged and said he'd like to look at my resume, and he's come back with some suggestions. And I think that one of the things is that I would love, hopefully by Labor Day, to have, you know, like, or in the process of, you know, settling into a full-time job, is also deciding on top of that is like retaining control of my career and not step backwards. And I think that's into the idea that I'm essentially waiting for, you know, everything's in the hands of other people. And I don't know how you feel at the moment. I know your work relationship's very different. You work for an agency. You've got a lot more. You are a lot more. Slaves, not that you can't use that word term, but you're a lot more. There's a lot more rigidity to how you operate.
Yes.
And I just feel that moving forward now, I've got to look at the life that I want. And I think the last couple of years, looking in hindsight, have told me that's not. I can get a job, and unless it's like a really fucking well paid one, you know, I've got to look at all my options, and it's not settling for the basics.
Right. And I feel like, at least for me, yes, the things at this moment are, I don't want to say a little bit more secure, but they're a little bit more grounded. But we'll put it for lack of a better word. But the change that has gone on here in DC
Yeah.
has caused questions to be asked. It's caused questions about, do you want to remain in DC? What sort of job do you want to have if you're not in DC? How do you want to make a change? How do you want to make a difference? It's a range of questions that I'm dealing with right now, and we're seeing how it's going to play out. So I'm also asking questions. I think at a different rate than how you're asking questions about yourself. But I think this year has caused everyone to be like, the mirror is in front. You've got to look at the man in the mirror and essentially, or the person in the mirror, and essentially say, do you like what you see? Do you like the trajectory that you're on? If not, how are you going to change it? And how do you want to change it to?
Yeah, I definitely think that the one thing is that, especially someone who's, I work in the creative fields, is that always, you're always working towards that millionaire status. Whether or not you're going to get there is another story. And I think one of the realizations this put into focus this year was that, on my present trajectory, this is what I will be earning.
Yeah.
This is it. This is where I stand. This is the money that I earn. And a higher, more indulgent wage packet is not going to be offered without a lot more work and sacrifice. That's not to say I didn't work, but I do think that it is looking at it and kind of going, Max, you need to reconsider. So I think this is where we're going to come out of it. And I know that there's going to be a lot of issues this year in America. I know that that this horrible bill that's gone through is going to upset and it's going to kill people, and there's going to be, it's just terrible what's going to occur from it. But I don't think it is going to gut aspects of American life entirely, and it is going to reclaim itself eventually.
I think it's going to morph it for a little bit.
Yeah.
And how you ride that storm is based on your survival skills. But like I said, I think that it is causing a lot of people to question a lot of things that they thought were stable, a lot of things that they thought were said and true, not so much anymore. Yeah. And it's, how do you fit into this, I hate saying this new world order. How do you make a place, and how do you carve yourself out of place in that?
Yeah. I think that's it. I think culture at the moment for second half is really, how do we, we have this mess. We've been, things are in pieces. They are pieces that need to be put back together. And I think culture for the next 6 months is working out how we put things back together again.
Right. And I would say I'm sitting at this point of being like, the pieces are here.
Yeah.
And people were talking about rebuilding, putting the pieces back together. But what wasn't working, and how do we change that? I feel like that is an opportunity that we should start taking. It's like, okay, it wasn't all perfect to begin with. How do we make it better?
Rot sets in because of certain things.
Yeah, I feel like, at least in my field, that there's an opportunity to make things better than what they were.
Yeah,
so
I agree.
Yeah.
With that, Daniel, I think we should move on to the end of the show.
I believe we should.
Do you have a gagged and gooped?
Well, I do sort of have a semi-gagged and gooped.
Go on, then.
At this point, it has been 500 days since Taylor Swift has released new music, making Tortured Poets Department her longest era to date.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I can't even believe it's been that long, to be honest. That's scary.
I know. All right. Do you have a gagged and gooped?
Well, yes, this was going to be news, and then it was going to be Chris McCarpenter, so I went back to this.
Yeah.
A teacher drank in class, swat pupils, has been and did the Macarena, has been fired in Wales. A former teacher swat pupils and danced Macarena while under the influence of alcohol. Apparently, she sat there with an Evian bottle, drinking a clear liquid.
You go, girl.
Yeah. It was a weird story. I think it was bigger in my head, but it was very interesting. Apparently, there's no cause or reason for it. She just decided to get drunk in class, and the teachers were like, and apparently she kept giving students knowing looks as if to say, "You're driving me to this." I'm
just gonna say it. Sometimes kids cause you to drink, and there's the reason why we don't have kids.
Yeah, and then don't be a teacher.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you have a word of the week to all the teachers?
I do have a word of the week. So the word of the week is clandestine. It means secret.
Ooh.
Yes.
Do you have Petticoat Lane?
Petticoat Lane. Yes, actually, it was very weird, and it goes back to our issues with sidewalks. I really think we should change this to like sidewalk corner or something like this. There was a person literally in my neighborhood on my street reading a physical book and walking
I hate
down
when
the
they do that.
sidewalk. And I was just like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, I had to get off of the sidewalk, walk in the street, not that it's a busy street, walk around them and get back on the sidewalk. And I was like, oh, what the
No,
fuck are
you're
you
not
doing?
fucking clever.
No, you're not. How about you?
No, I'm going to leave it there, really, quite frankly, because Petticoat Lane is this fucking country.
There we go.
With that, Daniel, I think we covered everything.
My dear, we didn't even set the agenda.
Boom.
Cheers.
This has been a Bearded Bitch production recorded in a Diane Keating podcast studio in Haberdashery.
You've been listening to the Bitches with Beards. I've been Daniel.
And I'm Max. A big thanks to you all for tuning in and giving us a listen. Don't forget to rate, subscribe and review the following on Twitter, X and TikTok, where you can find us at Bitches with Beards.
Please remember that only a mother could love our views and opinions, and they reflect us and no one else.
We'll hear you next week unless we're cancelled. Cheers.